wants to be king!
Welcome back to the War Room. I'm coming at you guys today from my store, so please excuse the background music. Before we get started, I want to give a special thanks out to one of my brothers and one of the longest subs of this channel. I mentioned his name before, Mr. Two Wheels Forever, Mr. Wayne. Brother Wayne sent me a flag for my gym and attached this message to it. Thank you, brother. I appreciate this very, very much. And I'll post a picture once I get it up in the gym, show you the young soldiers putting in work underneath the banner. Today, what I want to talk about is where we're headed as a country and what you as a man and as a woman who is listening to this can do in preparation for what is to come. With the inflation, all of the Resident Evil dictates, if you will, mandates, whatever you want, the bullying into trying to get everybody to partake in something. All of these things are creating a division that is pretty much straight down the middle. The same people that hold the ideologies that would have one believe that there's more than two genders and all of those things, all of those lunatics that fit that model, a lot of those people fall on the same side of this narrative. And what we've got is we've got a rogue government with senior citizens that are beyond their mental capacities, with Pelosi and Biden. We've got these people that can no longer do their jobs being propped up as puppets, and they're driving America straight off a cliff. Well, when this whole Resident Evil thing jumped off, we sat back and we assessed the situation. We collected all the data points that we could. We've got a lot of friends that are still inside. They're still enlisted in the military, and so I just kept my pulse on the things that were happening. And it didn't really take long to realize that what we were seeing, what we were dealing with, was absolute bullshit. And so while the economy was being crushed, we started looking at things and said, okay, what can we do? Well, a long time ago, I moved out of the city, out of the Dallas-Fort Worth area, in a highly populated area, and bought 45 acres in the country in what many would consider a small hick town here in Texas. And I did that for a bunch of reasons. The biggest reason was because the people who live in these types of towns, these people are generally conservatives who just want to be left alone. And these are the type of people who today the left would categorize as being the same as the people who knock down the buildings.
There is little cultural overlap between violent extremists abroad and violent extremists at home. But in their disdain for pluralism, in their disregard for human life, in their determination to defile national symbols, they are children of the same foul spirit, and it is our continuing duty to confront them.
You've been alive long enough and realize how they use language and how they basically rile up their troops to do their bidding, to create the division so they can come in with their solutions. You start to see that it's a game. It's a game that we play all over the globe. Now it's being played on us. And so you've got, doctors, nurses, cops, you've got everybody across every spectrum of employ just bailing because of this bully shit that's going on. And so what we did when this whole Resident Evil thing jumped off is we started looking at, what do we want to have happen where we're at? And so one of the things in this little town, there's very limited businesses here. And so what we decided to do was we bought a store, and we created an industry in this small town to where the people no longer needed to go to Walmart or any of these big box stores that were deemed necessary while they were crushing small mom and pops businesses. So while a lot of people jumped ship and lost their boats in this lockdown, we decided not only that we weren't gonna follow these things that didn't make any sense. We took a big chance and opened up a store that was a 100% risk. And now over the course of, we're coming up on a year and 2 months. In February, we'll be here for a year. And we've done relatively well. The business has done really well considering the condition that a lot of people have fallen in financially. Now, luckily, I live in Texas, and Texas is one of the states where we believe in America. But there's a split that's going on. And when you look at what's going on in all the cities that are run by Democratic idiots, it's like the purge. These people are allowing these criminals and thugs to do whatever they want to do. And murder rates have skyrocketed. Young children are being caught in the crossfires. And the same activist, BLM, that wants to concentrate on all the microcosms of whites shooting blacks, they're absolutely silent. And so when you look at that and you realize that they're only going to amplify the voice when it fits a narrative, if you're a thinking person, you have to realize, you have to realize what's going on, and you've got to make preparation. You have to prepare for the future. And what I want to talk to you about today is this this system that we've grown to know. They're slowly culling it. They're killing it. There's no question about that. When you see what they've done, when they're constantly going through the Greek alphabet, trying to come up with new ways to scare people, to further diminish what this country stands for, to keep people paralyzed in fear, it's not hard to see what's going on. And what we're going to end up having is we're going to have two very distinctly different societies. We're going to have the sheep who look at daddy government and depend on them for everything. And that's what the end game is here. They want to federalize every bit of our lives so they can control it. That is what this is about. They want to scare the shit out of you so you'll look to them to protect you. It's like the wolf convincing the sheep that he's got their best interest in mind. And what we've started doing is there's a bunch of disenfranchised doctors that are now beginning to see the truth about what's going on. There's a bunch of people who have decided to step away from their profession because of whatever mandates or expectations, changes, the equity inclusion bullshit, all of these things that are being used to tear our country apart. There's a lot of people that are separating themselves, and they're coming out here to places like this because they want to be left alone, and they want what America was supposed to be. What I would encourage everyone who's listening to this to do, if you are on the side of freedom, if you are on the side of not having the government with their finger up your ass like you're a puppet, telling you where you can go, telling you what you can do, and all of that, what I would advise you to do is start building your band of brothers wherever you're at. Don't make any excuses. These men exist everywhere. You're simply not going to the right places. You're not having the right conversations. There's a lot of people, there's doctors who have walked away from hospitals who will still end up practicing medicine. You have to understand this. There will be a parallel society that's built to this. Those who want to be on the grid, who want to be automatons to the government rule, who want to stand in the soup lines, who want to be told what to go, where to go, what to put in their bodies, what to do, all of these things. There are going to be those people who sign up for that. And then there's going to be people like me and the people that I surround myself with who aren't going to, we're not only not going to stand in those lines, we're willing to die on the hill to fight for our right not to. So what I would advise you guys to do, instead of looking at the old ways, investing in this stock market that's going to crash, instead of buying things that are soon going to have no value, seek things that are going to hold their value. Seek to put yourself in a position that when the supply chain crashes and shit actually starts to hit the fan, that you have value and you're just not a parasite on some system. Because when people get hungry, they're willing to do virtually anything. And all you have to do is look to history where people have been put in a situation where they have allowed the government, the federalization of the food system, or the overall takeover of the food system, where food was used as a weapon. And what people do in those situations, we here in America can't even imagine it. But I encourage you to look up the island of Nazino. Look that up and look at what those people did, what they resorted to when the same government that dummies are ushering in here in the United States and all over the planet, but really right here in America, the same ideology that was used to create the conditions that allowed this to happen, they're the same things that are happening here. There will be two definitely separate societies, two separate economies coming up. What you need to do is not be caught by surprise. Start to build your band of brothers. Start to close ranks from people who don't bring any sort of value or any worth to your life. Get rid of all the dead weight, man, because what's coming to America is going to require all of your focus, all of your energy, and every bit of power that you have in your heart and your soul as a man. Out.
Who wants to be king?